So I chose to do my documentary on RCT, which is the local theater in Richmond, and I interviewed a few people. I interviewed Carrie Harrington, who is the director of season development. I interviewed Kathy Klopper, who is the director of the board, and then I also interviewed Ryan Shaw, who is the director of stage one. What is the process for picking shows for the seasons?
Yeah, I am the director of season development. And so we have a play reading committee, and we read widely. We read maybe 2 to 4 shows a week when we're working on trying to come up with a season. We try to find 6 different shows, 3 of which are musicals, and then plays, comedies, things like that. And so we read, and then we come together weekly and talk about the shows that we've read, and try to handpick those shows. Then there's another group that then goes to the directors, and we show them all the list of shows for the season, see if they're interested in applying to be a director for a show. So there's a director selection committee. And then I work with a few others, Bonnie Miller, who's the head of front of house, and Ryan, who heads stage one. We get together and we work the whole season. We have to plot with a calendar and figure out when the shows can be, and based on other things that are happening in the community, when we can do our shows. And so we set the calendar, and then I have to take all of that to the board of directors, and they have to agree to all of that, the shows, the directors, and the calendar.
How do you acquire the rights to do certain shows?
That's a great question, because when someone writes a show, then they own the show. And so we cannot do the show on our stage unless we get the rights for that show. So there are publishing houses. And so Bonnie Miller has to write to them and ask if we can do the show and give the specific dates. And they look and see, is that show being done over in Indianapolis? If it's too close to when we want to do it, and the fact that we are in Richmond, Indiana, then they will not give us the rights. But if they do, then we pay. And that's how you get to have those rights. You have to pay for them. And musicals can be very expensive, upwards of $6,000 just to get the rights to do it. And then we've got to put on a good show so that we can recoup those costs.
Can you tell me something about the history of the theater?
Yes. Now, I can't quote chapter and verse and exact dates, so I'll just give you some kind of rounded numbers. The theater was started in 1940 with a man named Norbert Silbiger as the director, the artistic director, overall director. Norbert was a displaced person from Austria that was taken in the late 30s by a hospice program through the local Quakers. And they had sheltered him and given him a place to stay. And in that time, they found out that he liked theater. And there were some local ladies who wanted to start a theater, so they teamed Norbert up with them, and Richmond Civic Theater was formed.
What has changed with the theater during COVID?
Everything. When we were hit with COVID on March 13th, were you in Charlotte's Web?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think I remember. So for about a week, I felt like all that I got to do was to go around and talk to people on stage and make people cry, because we had to close several shows during that time, and it was absolutely heartbreaking. Because of COVID, we can't do musicals because we can't be close to each other and sing. We can't rehearse. We have done an outdoor show with some singing with a great deal of social distancing, and that kind of worked. Our numbers are limited in the theater, and that's really hard. For It's a Wonderful Life, the Christmas show, we were excited because we sold out both shows, but sold out meant we had sold 35 tickets to each performance. When a normal show, we would have sold 550 tickets to each performance. So it really cuts back on our finances. And finances is probably the area that's been hit the hardest during COVID. Plus the fact that we can't see each other. We can't get together and see each other. We can't really do shows the way that we're used to. So it's just changed everything.
This is the lobby. This is the sound booth. This is where you buy tickets. This is the balcony. This is the auditorium. This is the stage. Okay, we are going downstairs. I guess the dressing rooms. We have this dressing room, which is I feel like this dressing room is the one I've had the most. It's definitely the nicest one. That's why everyone likes that dressing room. Then you have the TV. I feel like don't they let you watch the show from there? Yeah. Then
so that helps you not miss your cues.
Boys.
And here's the
This is
costuming place,
yes.
right?
So this is where they fix the costumes.
Oh,
So you have the safety pins, all that stuff, ironing. Another boys' dressing room. Then this is the girls' dressing room. So you would hang your costumes right here along one of these lines, and you're right next to the costumer. That's nice. Yeah, it's nothing really exciting. Oh, this is where the mics are kept. So if you have a speaking, okay, none of the mics are in there right now. But
oh well, here, this one's unlocked. No mics. Oh, but there's a picture of Mike Day. So if you wanted to, in case you needed a mic, there's Mike.
there's Mike.
There's Mike.
Okay.
Hi, kids.
And then here,
Look at, I got fancy chairs.
okay, here, this is the fun thing. Here's where, like, if you're in a show, you can put your name on the thing. And I know my name is here somewhere. Give me a minute. Where did I put my name?
I've never seen
I haven't been here in so long. Oh, there's my name. There's my name. In the blob, you can see my name right there. It's my signature thingy where I put like the 2 lines through it right there.
You should show them where Cameron's favorite part is.
Oh, yes, my brother's favorite part of the Richmond Theater is this area, because in most shows they will put cookies up right here and you can grab some. Cookies and soda. That's why it's his favorite.
I always like here that you get to see the old shows, including
Don't
Ellie's.
Your biggest stage mishap.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. So, geez, I had a lot. I would say probably the biggest, well, I always have 2. It must be the number 2. 2 mishaps that I would say really stick out in my mind. One, I was in a show where I was not the nicest character. I was kind of a mean dude. And I had a scene where I had several big monologues, which those who don't know monologues, they're long sections of dialogue that's just one person. So I had several of these monologues that was explaining what was happening in the show at the time. And I had a character of the girl who played my wife in the show. She gets really upset with me, and there was supposed to be a stage smack. And we practiced and it never looked right. And so I said, just smack me. It's okay, I can handle it. So we did that for a while, and it was fine. And then opening night came around, and she was nervous. and she didn't want to smack me, so she kind of was doing this thing with her hand where she was nervous, and she actually hauled off and punched me in the nose, and I got a nosebleed in the middle of the scene. So I'm bleeding, and I'm trying to like not bleed on my costume and all over the place, and do this big monologue, and my lines got messed up, and everyone's looking at me like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? Because it was a monologue, so no one could really save the scene and jump in. That was probably one of the worst ones. And then I had one other one where I was in a musical, and there was a night where my partner could not be there, and then another young lady, her partner wasn't there that night. So we just paired up to do the dance, and it was not going to be a big deal. And there's a big lift in this dance, and we get to the part where the big lift is. And we really weren't thinking about the fact that, you know, when we were partnered up with our other people, it was height-wise, she's quite a bit shorter than me, and my partner was about my height. And I went into the lift, and she jumped, and I lifted her, and she caught me under the chin, and my teeth went like this. And shattered. These two front teeth here are partially fake, because my teeth got shattered in the middle of the show. And so I was literally having my teeth spit out while I was singing on stage. It was not fun. So those would be my two biggest stage mishaps.
Is there anything that you want to tell the community about RCT?
Oh gosh, yeah, we're here. We're still here. And if you didn't know that before COVID, we are here. And we always want people to come and join us. RCT is a giant family. That's always something that's been very important to me. That's how I started. That's what got me to stay here. And that's what got me to like follow my love and passion of working with students and theater, and which led to having this job. It's a great place. If you are someone who, like me, I did sports, I was in Boy Scouts, I did 4-H fair, I was in band and choir, and while I enjoyed all those things, it still was just not quite what I was looking for. And then I came here because of music, and then I was like, oh, I'll try the acting thing. Oh, that's fun. And then I learned like, oh, that looks cool. Like I'd like to maybe learn how to like build a set like that and make bricks out of foam and cool stuff. And then it just snowballed, and then I learned a bunch of fun and exciting new things that I've actually used outside of the theater realm and college and in life in general, and made some really great friends and connections that have actually helped me do some really cool things over the years and take me to some really neat places. So the theater can really open up your world in ways you would never think of. So I highly suggest if anyone is watching and listening to this and they've not got involved in theater, whether it's here or at school, wherever, give it a shot. Even if you're not a theater person or think you're a theater person, there's something for you. There's music, sound, lights, set building. Technology is huge in theater. Theater does a lot of leads the way sometimes in cool new things as far as projections and cool props and things that, you know, there's pyrotechnics in theater sometimes. There's dancing, I mean, you name it, hair and makeup, costumes. So if you've not given theater a shot, give it a shot.